welcome back to Joe's Allotment. So we're now in week 1 of June in our sort of weekly series of jobs to do throughout the whole allotment year. So this week's jobs, we've got to cut the king's head off the artichokes, and I'll explain more about that later. We're going to cut down the comfrey and start making some comfrey tea. Got a few things to sow directly into the pot today, some more radish successionally, and some leeks as well. We're going to plant a few more leeks. We've got some leeks already growing to plant out in a week or so, but I'd like to have some extra ones just in case we haven't got enough, and we also get a bit of a later crop for that. Going to plant out the basil in the garden at home, and I want to plant out some more sweet corn into some pots later as well. So we've got a successional crop, well not successional crop, but a later crop of sweet corn to follow on from the ones we planted out last week. So might have a couple of more jobs to do, but that's the main jobs to start with. I'd like to say thank you for the guy behind the camera. I'd also like to say thank you to people that subscribed recently. Like reading your comments, so keep subscribing. That's all I can say. If you like to subscribe button at the bottom here somewhere. So please press the button now and subscribe to follow our journey throughout the allotment year. Week 1 of June, week 2 next week. Thank you. As I said, the first job is to cut off what's called the king head, which is the largest artichoke that forms first. Cut this off, and it allows the other smaller ones to develop onwards as well. So not only do you cut off the king's head, you cut off sort of 2 to 3 inches off the stem as well. Take that home. So what's edible is the little bit at the bottom of each leaf, the half moon white area. There's also a heart in the middle, which is also edible. So I'll cut those off first, and then we move on to the next job after that. I'll just pre-prepare this little area here. I'm going to put some radish in here, a little bit of spring onion and some leeks. So what I'll do is I'll get these ready, and I'll pre-water them first. I'm just going to get some water. We'll let that sink in for a little while, and then we'll sow the seeds. We've got some French breakfast radish. It's the next successional planting, so we'll do a little row of that. Just a small row, should be enough. And then I've got some white Lisbon spring onions. So the radish should be up in sort of 4 to 7 days, and we should be able to crop those in 4 to 6 weeks. The spring onions will take 14 to 21 days to come up, and they take a few months before we can crop them. So a little row of those. Old heritage variety of spring onion, so nice and cheap. 75p from Wilkinson. Nice cheap spring onion. That's those done. I'll just cover those over and firm them down a bit. And that's a bit more sowing done today. Oh,
you haven't done anything in that one.
I haven't got anything in it yet. Nice weed coming up there, look, already. Burn that one down, shall I? That'll do some. So I'll just do a little short row of leeks. I've got a mussel burrow and an elephant leek. So I'll just do we've got some growing at home already in a big pot, which is going to be transplanted in a week or so. So these are just to follow, and just to, we've got space we can put them in. If not, we'll leave them grow here and we'll use them as young leeks. That one. And mussel burrow as well. Take this big stone out of here. That's it. Hopefully they'll germinate in 14 to 21 days as well. cover these over lightly. Give it a good firming down with some salt. It's been pre-watered, so they should hopefully get away quite quickly. Give all that firming down as well. That's it. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm sawing down the comfrey. I'm going to put in a dustbin and cover it with water to make some comfrey fertiliser. So this is Russian Bocking 14 comfrey, which was developed in the 1950s in the United Kingdom. And it's very rich in potassium, phosphate and nitrogen. So it's equal to farmyard manure, believe it or not, because the roots actually go down 2 metres into the ground, draw up all the nutrients in the ground. So when you put them into water to rot down, all those nutrients are released back into the water. So what I'll do is I'll put it into a bin, fill it up with water, and it's ready to use in sort of 4 to 6 weeks. And what I use it is like a 3-to-1 ratio. So I use 1/3 of the comfrey juice and 2/3 water. And it's good for tomatoes, peppers, squashes, any vegetable really. So it's good stuff. So we've got a few patches, one here, one over there, one round the corner behind the tree there. And we've got some on the other plot as well. So what I'll do is I'll fill up this bin. There's another container down the other end I'll fill up as well. And we'll use it throughout the growing season. So you're cutting it down, it regenerates very quickly, in no time. So that means you get a few cuts a year really. This will grow up again in say 6 to 8 weeks. I'll cut another load down and make another batch. It's just a matter of putting them in the bin. And they rot down very quickly. So it doesn't take that long for it to rot down. And if you know anyone who's got any, it's spread by division, or digging up the root basically. So if you dig up a bit of root, plant it, it'll grow on, and every year or 2 or 3 years you can actually divide those roots and make more and more plants. Excellent crop to have on the plot. Right, so I'll just top that up with water now. I'll weigh them down a bit, stones, keep them submerged. We'll fill it up with water now. That's filling up quite fast now. I'll put a top on it and a weight just to keep the top down, and that should be ready, as I said, in 4 to 8 weeks really to start using. Other jobs for June, week 1 of June, is continuous weeding, which we have to do this time of year, and also watering. If it doesn't rain, we need to water the crops that are growing continuously, just to keep them going really. So there are other jobs we can do. This is nearly full up now, so I'll turn the water off and put the top on. Just notice we've got a lot of black fly on our broad beans. So a few approaches. We can try and wash them off. We can hope some ladybirds come along and eat the vast majority of them, or I can bring along some of our homemade insecticide and give them a spray later. So I might do that. I think I'll bring along the insecticide and spray them, because they're not going to be cropping for quite a while, so that'd be okay to use it. It's mainly, I'll make it myself. It's chilies, cinnamon and garlic and oil, so it's not harmful, it's all organic, but I think I'll give those a spray later. So I'm doing the last succession of climbing beans here. So we've got the Lima Odell Pepper, which is, I think they're about 3-inch pods, they're like a butter bean. We like butter beans, so if we can dry some of those for butter beans, that'd be lovely. And I also use some haricot type bean, which is called a Coco Bianca. So I'll fill up this last section here, push them in with my thumb and give them a good watering. I'll just do 2 in a 1. I'll just do those, and then I'll do the haricot ones as well, I think, just in case they don't germinate. I'll spread them out. We'll do some of those haricot ones as well. Into my thumb depth, and we'll give those a good watering, and hopefully they'll germinate in 7 to 14 days, and we'll get a lovely crop of things that we can dry this year and also use fresh. So the next thing I'm going to sow is the next successional sowing of French beans. These are a dwarf borlato bean called Lingua fuconano. They look like a kidney bean. Very productive variety. So I'll get some of these put in about 4 to 6 inches apart and give them a good watering. So these are just pushed in thumb depth as well. They should germinate in sort of 7 to 14 days. I'll give this a good watering before we depart. Hopefully we'll get a lovely crop of beans that we can use fresh and also dry. They look like a bit of like a chili bean actually, so looking forward to drying these and seeing how they go. Never grown this variety before. Next ones we're sowing is a dwarf yellow bean called Roquefort. I suppose the actual bean is yellow, but the seeds are black. They look like a nice black bean to dry as well. Also use fresh when they're yellow. So same with these, 4 to 6 inches apart. They're pushed in to palm depth again. And we'll give these a watering as well before we go, and these should also germinate in sort of 7 to 14 days. Hopefully give us a lovely crop later on the year. I'll just water in the middle and then it sort of sink over to the sides. This is the peak time for the rhubarb as well. It's a good time to actually, if you want to freeze any, it's a good time of the year to pull it up. It's still very soft, cooks really well. So if you leave it much longer, it starts to get firm and not so rubbery,
brittle,
and it takes a lot longer to cook as well. Cook down, and it's so a good time of year. So I can over put the leaves in my insecticide. Make some more insecticide. I'll put them on the compost bin. So I'll take a batch home today and we'll freeze some, I think. These are amazing this year, they're huge. So that's one batch we can freeze. And I'll cut some more in the next few days as well, if we've got room in the freezer. We made some lovely rhubarb falls the other day, so they're in the fridge at the moment. I could do one of those at the moment, I'm quite hot. So yeah, so I'll cut that down for the next few days before it starts to sort of deteriorate. So back home now, got a bit of sowing, that's fine. So we're going to do some sweet corn in some pots. Already planted out the sweet corn, so these are like a later crop hopefully. Variety called Incredible F1, so they go about ½ inch deep, and we'll put them in these pots, and they should be ready for cropping in about 15 weeks time. So if I do just a few in each pot, and when they're large enough I'll transplant them into the plot somewhere. That's it. So I'll push those in and I'll cover them. Already pre-watered the pots. Just cover them a bit. firm those in. I'll put these into the greenhouse to give them a bit more heat for germination. Then they can stay outside until they're ready to be potted on. The other thing I'm doing today is some more parsley and coriander. So I've got a flat leaf variety, Moon Kraus 2. No, it's a curly variety actually. Curly variety, Moon Kraus 2. A flat leaf variety called Italian Giant, and some coriander. So this would be like a successional from the last one we planted out a couple of weeks ago. What I do is also keep some plants for putting into the greenhouse at the end of the season. We had a good growth in the greenhouse last year, and we dried all that lot from the greenhouse last year. It gives us quite a bit of parsley to keep going till the next crop's ready. So do the coriander. So I'll keep them in their little blocks when I plant them out. I won't put too many in each module. Spread them out nicely. There's one more there. That's it, that should do it for the parsley. The coriander even. This is the flat leaf parsley. Quite a fine seed. That should do. And then we've got the curly variety as well. So these take a bit longer to germinate. These take sort of 14 to 28 days. Very slow to germinate. That's it. I'll give the coriander a bit deeper covering, but these are a bit smaller, so I'll give these quite a light covering. These are firm down as well. These have been pre-watered already, so these can go into the greenhouse as well. Make sure I keep them nice and moist. As I said, they should germinate in sort of 14 to 21 days. And that's the planting for today. The only thing I've got to do now is I'm going to plant out the basil. I'm going to put it into the garden rather than on the allotment, so we can use it as it grows, and it's there all the time for whenever we need it, rather than trying to remember to bring it home from the allotment. So I'll do that next. So I've got two varieties of basil here. We've got sweet basil and a variety called cinnamon basil. So I'll plant them all out here in the plot at home and see how they go. Try and plant them a little bit deeper now in the pot, give a bit of support. Roots have hit the bottom of the pot, that's always a good sign. So 1, 2, 3. And they should be okay. And firming in, and I'll give those a watering as well in a moment. And they should get established quite quickly. And what I do is I keep cutting them as they're growing. They get to a certain height, I cut them, and they regerminate and give you another crop as well. Last one going in here. I'll give these a good watering in a minute. That's it. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 basil plants. So that should give us a decent crop. Okay, so that's jobs for week 1 of June completed. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Please leave us a like or leave us a comment, and if you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so, and follow our allotment journey and see what we've got to do in week 2 of June. Thank you. Goodbye.